The National Union of Mine Workers' youth structure has marched on the union buildings. They are voicing their unhappiness with the high unemployment rate, fuel price hikes, and the closure of mines and power stations. Let me take you to eNCA's Aviwe Mtila, who's been tracking that march. And Aviwe, in the course of covering that march, you've had many conversations with the people at the forefront as it relates to what exactly their demands are. They have marched. How have they been received, and have they been given a hearing and perhaps some undertakings as to what it is that will be done in response to their grievances?
Well, they've been given that listening ear just on the stage that you see behind me at the doorstep of the union buildings, the seat of power. I have that 11-page memorandum that talks of, among other things, the high unemployment rate as well as the hiking prices of fuel that is directed to the presidency as well as the Minister of Mineral Resources and the Minister of Labour here, Mtila. Of course, we do understand not all those players are here to receive it, but of course, NUM is not alone here, Tulas. They are joined by other youth structures such as the Young Communist League from the SACP as well as the working youth of the COSATU, which joins me now. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me at eNCA. Let me start with you, Tini Gwantini. Just maybe detail some of what is inside here.
No, thank you. I think one of the critical issues is the issue of youth unemployment. That indeed we can no longer accept anymore. But one thing was sure is that since 1994 we've been seeing a growth of unemployment going, and there's never been a clear program to intervene to this situation. But this time around it's very worse, where we've reached close to 65% of youth unemployment, and it's high time that the Department of Employment and Labour in particular, as a department that is relevant for this side, it's able to outline a clear way to say how are they going to create jobs, how are they going to intervene and try to cap this issue of youth unemployment. We saw through the National Development Plan, we're told that by 2030 would have reached about 6% of youth unemployment. But I mean, we're already in 2022, we're seeing the growth of this unemployment rate instead of the reduction. So it's clearly that the plan that the government has put, it's failing. And it's failing on the basis that we find ourselves being under siege as the working class because of the neoliberal policy regime that continues to exert the same hegemony of the ruling class, the same hegemony of policies that are anti-workers, just like how we saw in 1997 and coming.
Talking about those policies and talking about government, some might even be skeptical about this march itself, given that, for example, the YCL's mother body, the SACP, is part of the governing party which leads the country and governs, as well as COSATU themselves. What are we going to get out? What are you saying to the mother body of the SACP when it comes to these issues?
No, look, clearly I think we need to understand that the Liberation Alliance was not formed as an election pact. It was there even before who could contest the state. So it is not only the soul of the alliance who says that they are governing currently. Yes, we appreciate that through the democratic breakthrough we've seen the attempts of working together. But surely that's why as the YCL since 2006 we've been agitating the SACP in essence to say they must not forget that they are not there for themselves. They are there for a class. They are representing a class, and always they must assess the state of the working class. If the working class is under siege, it means that the vanguard must rise to the occasion and be able to represent the working class. And
what are you saying as the YCL to the mother body, the SACP, about the tripartite alliance?
Look, we say the reconfigured alliance has not worked. We know there is a document that has been agreed upon that is set to be discussed in the coming NGC. But surely Congresses have said, even of the NC, there's never been that discussion. But again, we are saying to the SACP, there's no reconfigured alliance that will happen in the boardrooms. Surely it will be on the ground. The masses of our people, they've had enough. They are facing serious challenges. Workers are facing serious challenges. We are seeing the high level of retrenchments. in the private sector. And that's why even leading to the 15th National Congress is a clear program of the YCL. It's our mandate that when we go there, we will continue to agitate for the SACP to take responsibility of the national democratic revolution. And that is for them to consider to contest elections, because contesting elections is not contesting the ANC, but is in defense of the same revolution that is under siege. 2024, we're about to see something that we have never seen. And now it's high time that the party of the working class must step in. And when we say it must not step in, we don't mean that they must abandon the alliance, because surely this alliance was never formed for elections pact. So it's not an elections pact alliance, but is informed of the struggles on the ground, and we must continue to be together. And unfortunately, we are here today, the ANC Youth League is not here. We are here today, the ANC is not here to march side by side with us. So it shows that they are very aloof from workers' issues.
I actually want to bring in the working youth from COSATU just to touch on some of these issues, especially the one that we just raised now. I mean, COSATU is also part of that tripartite alliance that's governing alongside the ANC, but you being critical of the very government that your mother body forms part of. I want your sentiments there in terms of what should happen going forward.
Indeed, we are saying this tripartite alliance is a paper exercise. On the ground, we are not seeing it. So we are saying as young workers, it is high time that we see to ourselves how do we then alliance ourselves as young workers in order to influence the mother bodies.
Even coming to this march, you talk of the high unemployment rate, which the president mentioned that a lot of jobs are created by the private sector. Should it then be directed towards companies in the private sector?
You see, as a country, we can't rely on private sector only. Public sector plays a key role. Government must maintain its own state-owned entities because they play a key role in our GDP. We are saying if you want to relinquish power of making sure that as a leading government you create employment opportunities, then what is the need of having you in government? And it is said because we are in tripartite alliance with ANC, and it is the ANC that is in government that workers are suffering under. Indeed, we share the same sentiment with YCLSA by saying at the end, Communist Party must take state power, and COSATU must be there to support them as the vanguard of the workers.
Okay, thank you very much, Siyabonga Mkize. From the young working part of COSATU, of course, the Young Lions of COSATU, as well as Tinyiko Mtini, also from the YCL of the SACP, clearly disgruntled of the high levels of unemployment that we see in the country, and they're saying that things need to change, Batulas, and they need to change very fast.